Here we go again. Hey there, it's Care. Welcome to my take at the lake. It is spring, and the weather is breaking. And for anyone who has dogs, you know that means it's time for the annual spring poop collection. And what better way to put it off than decide today's the day I have to clean my desk. As is often the case, I always have truckloads of videos I want to make for you, but my work area is a nightmare, so I thought, once again, that we would do it together, because it's just so much fun when there's someone there to talk to, even if it's yourself on camera. Morning coffee. I'll just quick show you best I can. There's my yummy coffee. And that project, and printables for you, and this project, and that box of goodies, and holy cat. So let's make this mess go away so I can move on to the next video for you. Printables. So I don't know if you caught it on a previous video. I'm not even sure if that video is out yet, because I record them and I edit them in different orders and post them in an even different order. One of these times, I'm going to get a pattern. Today's not that day. Tomorrow doesn't look real good either, so we're just going to roll with how it is now. Anyway, YouTube and a new podcast on a true crime podcast are going to be my full-time gigs now, at least for a while. Health issues are sort of forcing me to, let's just go with YouTube podcast full-time gigs now. So I've started a Patreon because that seems to be pretty popular. People like to support their favorite channels, and Patreon gives you that option. I have created several sort of teachy, kind of like Skillshare type videos or community ed type videos, more instructional, more than tutorial, more class like than these show and tells and chit chats. And until I have a permanent home for what I'm calling Junk Journal University. What glue should I use for this? Why are you using those scissors? Why isn't this working? So I made Junk Journal Prep School. And again, until I have a permanent home for those classes, I'm just going to post them on Patreon. There are a few things on Patreon already. For example, my thrift haul videos seem to be the most popular, so I made a printable for you to take with you to the thrift stores or the second-hand shops, or when you're eventually, if we ever get back to garage sailing and those kind of things. And it's organized by department. So I think about my own St. Vinny's. They have a vintage book area. They have a regular book and magazine area. They've got office supplies. They've got clothing. It's all departmented out like a department store. And so my thrift store shopping list is organized by department for your shopping pleasure. That is on Patreon already. This next one is for an upcoming video, and that will be on Patreon, as will something I'm calling Junk Journal Jargon is on its way there. I've got a little bit more editing to do, but it will be there soon. And it's all things junk journal jargon, because we often talk in a different language, and sometimes our favorite YouTubers don't tell us what they're talking about. I watched a video with a very nice lady the other day, and she kept talking about all the ATCs she's made over and over and over. She said ATCs, and I remember watching those type of videos as a newbie saying, in my head, what are you talking about? What is an ATC? And having to go to Google and look it up, or find, look on YouTube, what is an ATC? It's an artist trading card. It's, but not once did she throw us that bone. Like, I had to go look it up, and what a righteous pain. Stop what you're doing. Go ask Dr. Google, get off YouTube onto something else. I just want to know. So I made a printable for that. That is going to be with the video, Junk Journal Jargon. That might be one giant video or 3 smaller videos. I'm not sure at this point. But Junk Journal Prep School also includes Adhesive Academy, All Things Sticky, and Scissor School, All Things Sharp. And I know this is all available for free on YouTube, but you got to track it down, and you got to keep track of it all, and it takes time, and I am impatient and nosy. I want to know right now. So the printable is for you to keep right next to your desk or wherever it is you watch YouTube, and when someone throws out ATC, you can just look at your little printout and go, and go along with the conversation instead of being lost and irritated throughout. So things like that will be on Patreon, as will some exclusive videos, some live chats. There's all kinds of things coming soon. I'm new to Patreon, so it's going to take me a little bit to get there, but I am trainable. I am. Although you wouldn't know it. I've been trying to do not cleaning very much. I've been trying to set up an email so that these printables can come to you. Some of them I want to just give you. My letter from the bookmaker, blah, blah, blah. I notice a lot of my favorite YouTubers use MailChimp. I have been arguing with MailChimp now for weeks, and it makes me feel like I'm a brain-dead monkey. I'm trainable. I have several degrees. I could read. I'm pretty tech savvy. I'm the tech person in the family. And yet, I can't get MailChimp to do what I want. Ugh. So, damn it. For right now, it's Patreon. I'll get there. I will find an alternative to MailChimp if I have to make it myself. Oh, by the way, y'all seem to like the idea of the cranky crafter. One of my favorite YouTubers, if you haven't checked him out, please go do so. It has nothing to do with junk journaling. In fact, if you asked him what junk journaling is, he would look at you like you had 2 heads. So it has nothing to do with junk journaling. But he's fascinating. His channel is called Answers with Joe. And he's so smart, and he's very funny. And if I can get educated and entertained at the same time, I'm in. He's adorable. Anyway, the reason I'm bringing him up is because when he's talking, he doesn't do talking hands. He's actually a live head and shoulders person. He's talking directly to his camera. But he goes on these rants, and he'll spin his chair and look at a different camera, and that is his rant cam for his bird walks and his kvetching, and I love that idea. I only have one camera, so what I'm going to do when the cranky crafter is around, when I'm off on a bird walk and a tangent, I'm going to put, you'll recognize it, I am solidly Cancer the Crab, so you will see a little Cancer the Crab symbol that is denoting my rant. My bird walk, my whatever. You'll see. I'll put it right here, so you'll be able to recognize it. Anyway, if you've not checked out Answers with Joe, I'll put a link below to one or two of my favorite videos. Please go check them out. Brilliant. And he just started a podcast. I think it's called Conversations with Joe, with the rock star Brian Cox, Dr. Brian Cox, astrophysicist, atomic physicist, rock star, literally from the 80s, and rock star in science. Oh, adorable. It's one of his first guests. You gotta love that. I guess we'll start here at the top. This bag of goodies is this Chad Isaak Part 2 project. And so I have recorded the Chad Isaak Part 2. I am editing it as we speak, almost. It's about 3/4 of the way done. And holy man, every time I talk about that case, I get so wound up. I could do 6 more videos. I won't. Not here anyway. But that's coming. So that's what that brightly colored project is all about. Not sure if you caught it or not, but I did a video about, and I will link it below. If you don't have any scraps, or your scraps are tired and old, different ways to get new ones or refresh them and whatnot. And I made a whole bunch of homemade scraps from just a few things that almost everyone has around their house or at mom's house or at the office or someplace. Easily accessible things. One magazine, one newspaper, one catalog of any sort, one old book. Could be found in a dumpster. People throw books away all the time. There's free tables at libraries and hospitals, and just easily accessible stuff. Packaging, a paper bag or two. Anyway, and then once I had a whole bunch of scraps, then I jazzed them up Louis the Heinzel style with stamping and spattering. And I showed you my favorites and the mini masterpieces where I show you up close and personal, how some of them turned out. I wanted to show you, I ended up with a whole bag full. I only showed you a handful of what I did, but I have this whole bag, and there's a whole bunch still in this box. Here's the book that I was using, parts of a magazine. There's my one magazine and my one catalog. I tore up all my one piece of newspaper. That's not in here. But this is stuff and stuff. I started making a collage out of it. I have this super, super flimsy piece of, I want to say chipboard. It's not necessarily paper. It's just crap, pardon me. So I just started making a collage out of it. And so going to be a masterboard. I can cut it for tags, or I thought I'd make a cool cover for something. I don't know, but it's got that big chunk out. I'll have to fix that, but so many possibilities. Work in progress. That's all from those scraps. It's got that pretty coppery, I think it was called rose gold. Rose gold. And look, scraps all over the place. They're everywhere. That one little box of scraps went a long, long, long way. I have plenty, plenty, plenty to work with. Look at how much progress I make when I'm chatting with you. When I'm just sitting here doing it by myself, I'll start playing, and I start, oh, this will be cute. Oh, let's glue this. And I ultimately don't get the desk cleaned. So you'll probably see more of these videos because they're really good for me. I'll come back to this in a minute. So in that jazzing up your scraps video, I put out a big piece of Amazon packaging, or I don't know, maybe it was a piece of old newsprint. Maybe that's what it was. Just a giant piece of blank, cheap paper. It's pretty big, like, I don't know, 30 by 25 maybe. It was just something I had, and I spread it out here to keep the mess off my mat. I'll see if I think I took a picture of it. I'll put it here so you can see what it looks like. But when I took all those scraps off and put them out to dry, that paper looked so cool that I ended up doing more of the same things that I had done with the Louis the Heinzel scrap jazzing project. I just spattered and stamped and spattered and stamped that whole big piece of paper and made this. Again, this is 100%, this little journal is 100% from the homemade scraps. I added nothing except metal. So I wanted to quick show you this. This is a handle from a shopping bag, a grocery bag. And I'm just using that as a closure with a little clip. And it got stamped and spattered and inked along with the rest of it. This cover is the shopping bag that was in that video. So pretty. They just are so pretty. I love how the jazzed scraps turned out. Loving it. Full book corners. Open it up. Here is just a teeny little note card. Notes on the back. Goes into that belly band. This was from, I used one magazine page for all of my images. One magazine, it was one page. If you watch the video, you'll see it. This is a paint ad. Open it up. This is not a tuck. Looks like a tuck, is not a tuck. This whole page is collaged with bits and pieces and then a little bit of gesso over it. Stamped, a little bit of gesso. This is sewn in with a 3-hole pamphlet stitch. And the pages are where my backdrop went. So I alternated that newsprint that, again, I just tore up that big sheet of paper that I just showed you a picture of. This was the Amazon packing material as well. I've been watching Shinuki Art lately. She does this a lot, and I just thought it was cute and fast and easy. And again, ways to use up the scraps that I just made. Again, I didn't want to use anything that I hadn't already showed you, so that you can do this kind of journal buying no supplies at all. I did use stamps, but there are tons of cool things that you can do, that you can use as stamps without having to purchase any stamps. That's coming up too. Oh, so many ideas, so little time. So each page, I think I might have put one plain copy paper. I did 1 or 2 because I just really like the white with the craft. I just like the contrast. Another belly band. This is just one of the scraps. I did use a couple bits of piece of washi tape too, because this is the new stuff I got for Christmas and I just couldn't wait to use it. Tag, tuck, corner pocket. Could just be a pocket. These aren't anything but embellishment, just to have some kind of cool things hanging off the edges. I like that look when it's closed. I like it at the side, not so much at the top. I don't, you know, everybody's different in that way. I couldn't decide. I really liked this side of this scrap, but I really liked that side of that scrap too. So I just hinged it with another scrap. This was also one of my favorites. I just glued it and bent it. Used it sort of like washi tape, and then put a hidden writing space in there. More of that washi tape. I did add a couple extra stamps just to dress up the pages. There's another piece of that same, parts of that same magazine page. I guess I used 2. I'm sorry. All the flowers came from one page, 3. This came from a magazine page, and this paint sample. So 3 magazine pages. All from the same magazine though. Just simple. Every page doesn't have to be complicated. This was one that ended up, I think it's part of an envelope, and it's stamped. So cool. So I used it. Hidden writing space if you want. Just something pretty. Another little writing space. Go in a corner tuck. And this is the back part of the bag. So you can see, here's the shopping bag. This is the bottom of it. And I didn't close it. Except for this. I did 2. So I can't get through all the way to the bag. But there's the whole shopping bag. This is the bottom of a similar shopping bag. So 2 shopping bags were destroyed to use to create this project. This is the bottom of a teeny tiny shopping bag. It's a little, stands about yay high. It's just a teeny little shopping bag, and that's the very bottom of it. And I just tore up some of the same book pages that I had in there. I just tore them up. And I wrote on there because even though there's writing all over it, if you have a big Sharpie that's contrasty enough and you write bigger, these would make just fine note paper. I haven't done anything to the inside because this was an absolute last minute. I need something to stick in here. I did put a piece of the scrap in there, and then this just tucks into that little thingy bobber. And how cute is that? How cute is that? Oh, nothing. Again, you don't need these fancy stamps. You can make yourself. You can tear up script. You might have different stamps. There's certainly tons of things you can make at home that will make beautiful mark making tools for you. Cute little closure. How fun is that? To make that little notepad that I just put away, I got out and made good use of one of my homemade, it's not a very good, one of my homemade, still can't really see it. See how this edge is nice and pristine, and this edge is, now I used my Dremel tool and made sure I had my safety glasses on and made some marks in it. Anyway, I used that to tear these pages. Get a different look than just tearing with a regular ruler. I will link that video below too, and how I made my tearing rulers. Again, Shinuki Art. She's got a great video on tickets, and a few hauls back I found these at $1.25 Tree. I hope they change their name. Shinuki Art has a great video on taking those bright colored, she calls them carnival tickets, and making them into really cool vintagey tickets by using bleach. It's brilliant, and hers turned out wonderfully, but they're different kind of tickets than these Dollar Tree ones. But I wanted to see what it would do. I put bleach. These have all been bleached. I soaked them in a bleach mixture that I keep in my bathroom, and nothing moved. So then I coffee dyed. I sprayed them with my coffee that I always have on hand. I just grabbed this and gave them a few squirts in the kitchen sink, and I like them better. These are okay. These are way better. Just takes them down a notch. I also bleached these and used that those sprays that I made from the printer cartridges to see what would happen there. And yeah, they're all right. These sides are kind of cool. Nah, they still need some work as far as I'm concerned, but you know, it's all experimental. It's all an experiment. So we'll jazz those up. Look. Putting stuff away. Putting it back where I found it. Such good habits when you're here. Versus when I'm here on my own with no adult supervision of any kind. That's problematic. Lastly, I have this thing for you. I was watching a video, and when I shame videos, I never want to say who it is because I don't want to embarrass anybody specifically. I'll cheer people left, right, and center. And speaking of Shinuki, I think I'm saying it right, Shinuki Art. She has a fantastic seahorse journal that she did as part of a design team project for Louisa Heinzel, and it's fabulous. And I'm putting it in the new Theme Thursday Heroes playlist because there's not one single stinking butterfly, because it's a seahorse journal. It's a mermaid journal. There's no reason to stick a butterfly in there. And so I'm going to add that one to my new Theme Thursday Heroes playlist. If you've not checked that out, lots. They're not my videos. They're other people's videos that make entire beautiful, gorgeous, wonderful journals. Sans butterfly. I think I mentioned this before, but since we're on the topic, I was enthralled with a journal that had a very specific theme. I'm not going to tell you what it is because that'll give away which video it is. So I'm going to say that the theme was Coca-Cola. And every page is Coca-Cola and beautiful, beautiful. And the cover, not a Coke bottle, not a Coke ad, not a Coke vintage cooler, not a Coke machine, nothing about Coke. The cover, fucking butterfly. Why? Why? It makes no sense to me. So I am not giving up on New Theme Thursdays. There's more coming because there's so many great ideas out there. Let's explore them. We're creative people. So I was watching a video. Again, I'm not going to say who it was because it really irritated the shite out of me. And the whole video, she's making this masterboard, and she's making this masterboard, and the whole time she's talking about she's going to cut up for tags, and she's going to cut up for this, and she's going to cut up for that. And she gets the whole collage done. We're making the whole collage. And all this is tissue paper. Old book. This is from that 1965 Handyman's Encyclopedia that I've been tearing up. I've got a whole set of 25 of them, and I'm using them for all kinds of things. And these are actually all just weeds. But I really liked the black and white. And so all it is my homemade Mod Podge, and you've seen these done 1,000 times in 1,000 ways. So there's no need for me to do I don't think, unless you want one, a tutorial on this. It's just gluing stuff down and then stamping and mark making, and that was it. But anyway, at the end of that video, she's got this whole thing that the entire time she's talking about cutting up. She just ends the video. No cutting up at all. Which, to me, is kind of the most fun part. So, I immediately grabbed, again, more pages from that Handyman's Encyclopedia. Glued them together to make a decent sized something or other that I could tear up. And I made this with the sole intent of cutting it up for those of you who might have seen that video and are having similar problems with, oh, you said you were going to cut it up, so all I'm going to do is cut this up in front of you, because to me that's one of the very most fun parts of this. So I know they're not probably perfect or straight. I'm going to keep half of it because I think I want to make a cover out of it. And the other half I'm going to cut up randomly. Try to get as straight a line as I can. It's collaged and homemade, so that might not be completely doable, but it'll be close enough. Because handmade is likely not going to be perfect. That is all I have for you. So if you don't want to watch the cutting up of the masterboard, by all means, thank you very much for stopping by. And if you're here to watch me cut it up, thank you for sticking it out. Left turn. Nobody watches a whole video. Precious, precious few people watch a whole video. Even the shorts. I did a whole bunch of shorts at Christmas time. They're 16 seconds long. People watch 12. Can't be bothered with the whole 16. 12 seconds. Make a 30-minute video. People watch 15, 20. Make a 15-minute video. People watch 12. So I think that's hilarious. I'm guilty too. Get to the point. Get to the point. Let's go. Let's go. Fast forward. Fast forward. I got stuff to do. I get it. I get it. So I've decided, instead of trying to meet, because I can't get any shorter than 16 seconds, and that is too long. So I'm just going to do what I do, and you stay as long as you want to stay. Lovely having you here today. I hope that you get to do something fun and crafty. I'm going to take you to the lake. Out in a minute. I'm turning it upside down because I want it to be a surprise. I don't want to think about, oh, I want this flower and that word and those numbers. I just want to cut it up and see what I end up with. So we're cutting blind. Oh, that wasn't even close. Look at that. Crappy cut. And you teach all things sharp. Yes, I do. Mistakes happen. You know, let me just trim that off. Pretend like it didn't happen. And that will not go in the artist trading card pile. Simple. One. Oh. These I cut just square. My brain can't do upside down, can't do sideways. I'm pretty flexible person, I like to think. Maybe it's the reader in me. Can't do upside down, sideways words. Text. I can do sideways words, that's fine. Our artist trading cards. One of the things I think is the most satisfying. This is the most satisfying part. If you're going to collage, to cut it up. To me, this is the most satisfying part. And I think part of the reason I like it so much is taking that sort of clutter and chaos, even though it's contained in this rectangle, almost square, but it still seems kind of messy, and making them into neat, clean shapes, I just think that's cool. So those are my squares. These are the artist trading cards. How many we could get in there? This one will have to go this way because that's the way the text and the numbers go. Have to go this way. In my world, this is my playpen. This is how it's gonna roll. That one might have to go this way because the flowers are going that way, although I might be able to let that go. I'm trying. I am trying. But some things I don't want to undo. I don't want it ever to be okay that pages are upside down. I don't. But flowers, they could be upside down or sideways. That's a nice big one. And look how lucky. Got the whole word. How cool is that? That'll make a kind of a neat journal cover plate. Might have to be trimmed down a little bit, but I don't always make journals this small. So it almost looks like a flower, like a purple flag. That's pretty cool. I like that one. Oh, that's fun. I like just the dots. I really like that one. So there. I feel better. I hope you feel better. This was fun. My desk is clean. I can make the next video for you. Go make yourself some fun and then cut it up blindly. That's a fun thing. I quite enjoyed all that. I hope you did too. Have a lovely, lovely crafty day. My take at the lake out for real this time.